President Trump is once again taking aim at the U.S. immigration process. He said Tuesday that he wants to offer wealthy immigrants gold cards, offering to sell them to with the possibility of citizenship for $5 million.
The administration pitched the idea to replace the existing EB-5 Immigrant Investor Program. That's a program requiring foreign investments of just over $1 million in exchange for visas. Trump called the program a form of fraud, saying that his gold card could be much different.
It's going to be a route to citizenship, and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful.
Joining us this morning to talk more about this proposal from the president, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. Khalif, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
All right, so help us understand a little bit about this $5 million gold card program. It's almost like a platinum level green card.
Give me your poor, give me your tired, and give me your rich. I didn't see that when I went to the Statue of Liberty. I used to work in New York. I'd go there all the time. That is at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty. As folks come into this country, it was the beacon of hope. It was supposed to be your access to freedom, taking immigration in, and we've changed it and flipped it on its head. But immigrants are normally coming here because they're running from something else, persecution. In their country, they may die, so I need to go to America. I'm coming here for hope, for my family, to get an opportunity to do something that I didn't get a chance to do in my country. But now, if you're wealthy, you also have a great opportunity to come here and buy this, what he called it in the whole clip was Green Card Plus, which is a green card and then some additional benefits like it's my Amex and I get a free flight. I mean, the flipping on it, it's confusing to me, but I do understand the EB-5. I've had a number of clients that have had that in the past where they've come in here. The intention of the EB-5, which seems like the exact same thing this is, you come in with the intention of investing money in our country, and because you're investing money in creating jobs, will give you a path to citizenship. That does sound like a great idea. You want people to pour into this country. You want folks to invest in this country, but it also is a misnomer because what we do know is that the wealthy do not pay much taxes. We know that businesses do go out of their way to avoid paying taxes. So if you're saying that the benefit of this is to increase the tax increase that these folks will bring, well, the wealthy are finding ways to not pay taxes. So it's kind of on one side, it sounds great, but I'd like to see if they've thought this out, if those wealthy individuals will actually come here and give taxes. The last thing I'll say is he mentioned that they won't pay taxes in their home country. So if you're making the majority of your money in your home country and you've given this $5 million, but then I go back home and make billions, are you really bringing that tax benefit that you intend on having? So I think this is not flushed out all the way. It's really just revising the EB-5 program that was killed off a few years ago.
It was last renewed in 2022 under the Biden administration, which again, the original amount in that EB-5 program was still $1 million, $800,000 if you promise to invest in some lower areas. But the president is doing this because he talked about fraud within the system. What could that fraud be?
And I don't know. I mean, because I've worked with folks that do this. There's a number of folks in Charlotte that are developers that go out and specifically work with individuals that come from China and say, look, I want to build a development right here. It's going to create jobs. I want to build this, and it'll create an influx of revenue. And before it went up to $1 million, it used to be $500,000. And so if you look back, it's leveled up and leveled up. That's why I'm just calling it an extension of that program. You took it from 500, you took it up to $1 million. Now you're going up to $5 million. I mean, I like the thought process of the numbers, that if we can get 1 million people to buy into this program, yeah, those numbers are through the roof. But are there 1 million people out there that are willing to do that? There's probably not. Well, and at the same time, you're saying access to this country, to the opportunity that's given here, is only for the rich. It's only for the wealthy. The language that shows, the messaging that shows is also problematic for what we stand on as a country, which is a country of hope. And we're merging those things together, which is also problematic because we're saying the wealthy are not criminals and the poor are criminals. And statistically, there's nothing to support that. There are probably just as many wealthy people that are committing crimes as poor people. So if we're attacking immigration, if we're saying we don't want folks to come to this country because we don't want them to promote crime, just because you have money is not an indication of your ability to commit crime.
Khalif, you said earlier that we want people to come and invest in our country. We want wealthy businesses maybe to come here to invite others to live here, to invest into the country, and great talent. We want to bring them here. So what needs to happen? Does it need to happen on a tax level? Maybe there's more accountability for them paying their taxes. Maybe that makes it more acceptable.
I think that would help for sure. If there's going to be some regulation, and we know this administration is anti-regulation. And so if we're rolling back the regulations on things like that in oversight, in accountability. So if you're saying I'm going to open up this new program that opens up a faster pathway to citizenship. I'd like to know, well, who's overseeing it? Are they overseeing? What are the parameters? Who's making sure these folks aren't doing the fraud that you're alleging that happened in the EB-5 program? And then I'd love to see what the rampant fraud is that you guys have alleged, because I didn't hear that. What I did hear is that folks weren't making the payments, that, hey, I promised to pay this amount and then maybe it wasn't coming through, or you didn't have it. So they start the process and then to get it finished. I'd say this, on citizenship, we want those wealthy folks coming. We want poor people coming. We want intellectually strong people coming. One of my most recent clients is in that top 1%. He's one of the most highly decorated people in his field. So we want people in his, like that capacity, to come to this country and create a path for all types of people to get citizenship. I just want to ensure that there's oversight, and normally that comes through Congress. So hopefully Congress is watching and saying, we need to draft something to support this.
Yeah, so we'll see those details and what that looks like after it is flushed out. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on it as always. Khalif, thank you.